was that certain we would face a French that I even dared to put it in general. Yeah, even if he decided, oh no, I will change, yeah, then I would be happy since he would play something he never plays. But yeah, I did also a decent amount of prep for this game. Not necessarily exactly against my opponent, just I haven't really studied the French in that depth. But yeah, I had looked more at the Steinitz since I didn't really understand that opening that well, but that will be for another time. I know, it's this, these French names, I will want to say the Rubinstein. So now we are playing the Steinitz. I checked also a bit on that, but yeah. Here. Oh, b5. That's funny. That's really funny. I faced this move also, but I think with c5, c3 included. Don't know if it makes any difference. Yeah, over the board like a week ago. Yeah, exactly a week ago. And yeah, I didn't know anything about the IAD, but I think as I didn't check it specifically for this game, but I had looked a bit at it, and yeah, mainly I should just ignore it and focus on development. So in that game I've played, for example, a3, but that's just playing in what they want. I should just allow this b4 ID. Instead, I think it's knight f4 here, which yeah, the knight always want to go to f4 in the Steinitz. And yeah, it's of course a nice bonus that I for a second attack this pawn. Well, of course, almost every, yeah, they can't play a5 yet, I guess, but every other logical move would defend against it. So now they could be threatening this. The lines I looked at, said, yeah, there are this team is taking on d4 and then b4, but yeah, not here, of course. Here that doesn't make any sense. So do I want to include bishop d2 here? Or maybe no, not queen d2. That's just bad. And yeah, often there's a knight on e2 which can block on c3, but that's not the case now, so let's not do that. Yeah, the problem, if I play bishop d2, they could play queen b6 and then attack my pawn again. Oh, I think I'm sorry for that. Probably the board was a little bit cut off. It should be good right now. So bishop d2 is a main candidate. Like, do I need to be afraid of this? Yeah, the problem is after this now my e5 pawn is hanging. And I think I care for that. So I think it's e3, a3, so then they have b4. But yeah, then there are these sacks here. Yeah, maybe a3 is a move here. And if they play b4, you can just take it. And yeah, so a3, b4, take. Take. They can take with a knight then. Is that annoying? Could be a little bit annoying. No, I play bishop d2, both unpinning this pawn. I'm pinning the queen, so that doesn't work. So a3. Since yeah, this bishop d2, the bishop, I don't really want to play bishop d2. I feel that they could like, although, how about this bishop d2, queen b6, bishop e3. Yeah, but yeah, the main problem is I don't really know where I want this bishop yet. So because of that, I want to delay the development. So a3. Let's just go by the candidates. Can take with the knight. Ah no, that looks good. Taking with the knight. Since knight here, then they can take here. Ah no, then I'm up then I'm up a knight. So that's not good. So taking with the knight. b4. That is so a3 take, or with the knight b4. Like I feel so in the lines I looked at, although then sometimes rook a2 was a move. So then it was a3 and bishop e7 was included. Is this b5? Yeah, of course it helps with b4, so it changes something. But I'm not that afraid of b4. And otherwise this is just a weakness. Like in the structure, if I get b4 in, then my bishop is nicely targeting that pawn. So a3, take b4. Like, these sacrifices don't really work, right? Let's say with a bishop, you take, knight take, and bishop d2. Attacking the knight. I really don't see it. Sorry. I lost the game very badly with something similar like this. So, Nance manhunt, I'm thinking I will not figure out this anyway, so I should just make a move. But yeah, the risk is to. I really I was basically lost out of the opening in that game, so I kind of want to avoid that too. How did that went? Good shot. Then I think they were entered here. And because of that, I need my rook on a2 soon. We will see. And then that one, since they are also then sacrifices. Oh, I need to check that. Does that work? Okay, so a3. Let's say take b4, queen c7, take back. Now they sacrifice here, and my rook is hanging in the end. Of course, I don't need to recapture the knight. Yeah, we are not playing checkers. It's not, captures are not forced. Also, I guess, that's a big difference with b5 included. If so, in this line, take, b4, queen a6. Now, if I capture here, now bishop b4 works. Although, I need to, since there are also still IDs. With like the here on the b square. So let's say, yeah, maybe let's check that line. So this b4, queen a6. I don't think I can recapture with a knight. Yeah, no. I was thinking that then in the end some bishop b5, which there is in the end, but like I sacrificed in exchange. If bishop e5 in the end would be with a check, then I would start. Although it's with the tempo on the knight, so the queen is okay. Let's figure out this a bit deeper. This queen e6. Take. Yeah, I think I want to take with the pawn since I like that the knight is unprotected. Bishop b4. Although they can also, of course, take with the knight. They can do both. But yeah. The bishop is still undeveloped, so it makes some sense to sacrifice the bishop. Although it's not a sacrifice, of course, but you understand the point. Take. I lose also a pawn here, so it's not that I win up. It's a full exchange, so this a pawn becomes a really nice passer. No, it's not a passer yet. I have a pawn on b4, but that pawn is also hanging. So then I even have knight b4 in the end. No. This, so a3 not. I think this just doesn't work. So then I guess that the only move is bishop d2. I don't see another move then. And then queen b6. And then we will re-evaluate, I guess. Probably bishop e3, queen a5, and now there's no pin, so then I can do a3. Yeah. Okay. So that, like here, this sort of trying to repeat, that doesn't work. So bishop d2. And if they capture here, now I could go bishop c3. It's not the most No, since then we have this, they still have this b4 ID, so probably not really. Probably I still want a bishop here on e3, I would say. Okay, so any other tactical motifs? Don't think any sacrifices on e5 are working. I think this is, how bad can this be? I lost 10 minutes at it, but yeah. Okay, queen b6. I expected. So yeah, that's, if I now play bishop e3, that's a nice nuance. Since against queen b6, I probably wouldn't play bishop e3 if they played directly queen b6. But yeah, maybe it's not. It's probably still not really the end of. Although then they can take, and bishop b4. Yeah. Although, do I then just go again back bishop d2? It's a funny sequence, I guess. So bishop e3, take, bishop b4, bishop d2. I am happy to trade off these bishops, right? So don't think they can like take here or anything. I just cap here, and if they capture, then I defend. So that should be fine. Of course, yeah, we will see. I think this is fine for me. So, of course, if they allow me, I will want to play bishop d3. Probably they will play another annoying move. This b4, I don't think I need to be afraid of b4 here. Like, so in that game over the board, I played a3 to sort of stop this march, but like anyway, they want to just create a weakness here, so I just need to like let them do. And e3 creates, like in the game, I think the pawn remained on e3, where it's a weakness, and they then cemented that with a4. Like, I got at some point, like then a winning attack against their king, but I misplayed it, and in the end they won by, like here. Yeah, it was dull. A lot of stuff happened. I first sacked a piece, then it became that I had a rook for the 2 pieces. Then I sacrificed an exchange, so it was back a piece, but I had like some pawns. And then I had then at one point a winning tactic, but attacking this like structure. Since I had a bishop on g2, there was some tactic, like I think it was with, yeah, there was no pawn here anymore, so I could sacrifice my rook here. Okay. So now they will manage to it's now a3 move. since yeah, they will try to change off the bishops, of course. I could, like in that game I played with g3, bishop g2, then of course they will, like, but yeah, I didn't play it, then the knight still back on e2. So they could then change, trade this bishop, but they didn't too. They allowed me to play a rook e1 and knight f4. But that bishop still turned out to be quite decent. So yeah, I don't really want to play now bishop d3, since then yeah, I sort of give them a tempo. Of course, they will also maybe do the same game, but so let's say a3. That's, I think that stops b4 for now. I trade, queen takes, and I take here, and that's looks, yeah, probably just winning. So does something change if they, let's say, take here? Let's say I take here. There's no bishop b4 now, so that's nice. Yeah, I'm not sure what they are planning to do against a3. I'm not seeing it for the moment. Like, if they can't play b4, like, it feels the pawn already should be on a5. Maybe the line is a5 and then bishop a6. Since then also the bishop wouldn't, like, these tactics wouldn't work. Yeah, I'm really not sure here. Yeah, of course in the beginning, like, my pieces are a little bit clumsy, but now I sort of already solved that. The knight on f4 is not a super usual piece, but in this structure it's like really nice. It often goes to h5 and puts a lot of pressure on the kingside. And yeah, it always is fighting against f6 breaks, since there's pawn is hanging. And yeah, in some lines it can go back here, put pressure on these sense of his pawns. Yeah, if they play c4, of course, now they have it like this, but they spent a lot of time to do that. I'm not sure. After c4, will I want to go with the fianchetto setup or the calm bishop e2? Maybe I just go for the calm. No, and we'll see. I will decide that later. Yeah, like b2 on e2, I still have somehow. It's very far-fetched, but the idea to get my battery here. But that will need a lot of maneuvering. But also, since yeah, after c4, this would be an idea, and yeah, the bishop could fight against that on d1. So I think it makes some sense down. But yeah, that's not the biggest. Yeah, I don't know. I think I can just do this. If they don't move that like prepares b4, which I don't see at the moment, but you'll see. I guess maybe they can do it like that. Take. No. Yeah. That makes some sense. Okay. To, like, trade. then play b4. Take, since now this is with both, yeah, for one, the pawns are now of course a lot weaker here. And this comes with a check. So yeah, maybe that's the idea. So what can I do against that? Maybe not that much. Like, is ever taking here with a knight an idea to have this, like, discovery in my pocket? Doesn't feel like it's really working. For example, they already have bishop c5 and just weakened my e5 pawn. So assume take b4. Think I probably still will trade. I could also allow this and say it's not a problem that my king can't castle. Play h4, rook h3. My king is perfectly safe here and my rook will find something to do on the h and z files. That's a very valid strategy too. Then yeah, and of course mate is a3 cents. Yeah, it's still can open up the b file. Still, and it's still also sort of a forcing move. So let's say they play no, take b4. Yeah, now with the queen still here. Yeah, then that doesn't probably make that much sense to take. And then I just created this stupid weakness. So take b4. It could be an idea to just then play a4. I was thinking, I keep referring to that game, but it's, yeah, quite irrelevant. Of course, yeah, for people that, like, have access to my over the board study, I think it's called EC round 3 or something. Could be. Don't think I put in the name of my opponent. I also don't remember it, but I think it's that. But yeah, it's not that familiar anymore. But yeah, and there's like, there was also this b5, but the pawn was on a5. And yeah, I went for this free and kettle setup, so that's some big differences. But they got in b4. I guess, yeah, the pawns are exactly, so my pawn was on g3, this pawn was on a5, and otherwise the pawns are exactly the same. The pieces, I don't know where the queen was. I think they only later joined with the queen. Could be that the queen even stayed for very long. I think the queen just stayed on the 8 even all the time. Since yeah, the queen was like a very important defender. Otherwise my mating attack would have crashed through. But it was important that I had some queen e8 and some lines. Fighting, yeah, since my queen was on h5. So they could then propose a queen to 8. Yeah, there were not like good squares for my queen to stay on this side of the board. Since yeah, I had a pawn on h4 and a bishop on h6. And I think given there was there a knight on g5? Or not yet? Not sure about that anymore. Okay, but that's those IDs probably, yeah, although this knight h5 ID is for sure. Well, yeah, it could, like this attacking ID for sure is important. Like, my pieces are very fast and like all messing for an attack on the king with like queen g4, knight h5. Of course, depending how they defend, the h-pawn can join. And this bishop is, at least, it's not actively, but yeah, again, for example, if they try to stop it with g6, then that's the h6 square and stuff like that. Or it at least defends a knight on g5, that kind of stuff. And yeah, if I can get my bishop on d3, it will be even like the star of the minors. Okay, I go for that. Logical, of course. Oh, what? No. Oh, at least now I'm a classical player. But if you're somehow in my chat also, don't do this. Challenge me while I'm playing a game. In general, yeah. Also only challenge me if I would already, for example, said I wanted to play viewers. So, can I do something? I'm just gonna declare. Okay. So bishop d3 is of course my main candidate. Does something big change? I guess they then can go. But yeah, at least we could just go into exactly the same variation if I take on b4 and they then take with the bishop. We then sort of both lost the tempo. Yeah, don't think I need to overthink this. And I already spent, of course, knight h5, but they just castle and, or even play g6 actually in this position still. Like, yeah, in that game, these two knights got traded, so I was a little bit faster with joining with the queen. So for now, yeah, h4 is an ID too. Guess let's take a little moment. So this is the key variation at b4. But yeah, still, I already decided what I, oh no. I think then I just play, oh no, if I take here, then I can castle. Probably just a4, right? And now, like, this pawn is just in the way of their minor pieces. It blocks both the square for the bishop and the knight. And if they capture, now they develop my queen. Now I for sure will be start to think about this h4, knight g5 stuff. In some lines, I assume like queen b5 could be an idea. Although I probably never want to trade on b6. So it would be sort of a stalemate. But yeah, I assume they probably, although it looks like some double pawns, but I think this pawn on b5 in that case would be not the worst. Okay. Yeah, c4 I'm never really afraid about, right? Probably will go to c2, although like this very modern battery could be an idea, but I think I want to keep the flexibility with the rook for now. The queen can also just join the attack from over there. So I don't think c4 is ever a move. Ah, wow. Did that? No, I did. I didn't, like, I didn't even consider if this pawn was sufficient enough defended. Since, yeah, it's almost never, since it's, yeah, very often, like, a poison pawn. Yeah, not even a poison, just a losing. Like, even if it looks like you can grab it, you often can't grab it because of, like, these checks. But yeah, that wasn't the case here. But yeah, my bishop is here. Otherwise, like as the bishop on c1, I guess then the pawn would have been hanging. I think it would. That would have been a bad blunder. No. Okay. Yeah, I still think they probably should go for some of, and I think this b4 directly just doesn't work. So I assume taking here and then maybe going for b4. But for now, how I see it, I kind of like my position there. It feels I'm pretty solid. I even like, I'm decently fast and challenging for the c file. Since yeah, my queen already will be on d3, so like it doesn't stops the connection of my rooks. So like I will be, yeah, the only thing like is this pawn then. But yeah, it's not so, yeah, before it's becoming a weakness, then they also need to push b3, which maybe they would want to do. But that's again another tempo. Then that pawn on a4 would become a little bit isolated. So let's show this. So I'm talking about this. Take. Of course, they don't like really need to. They can keep this tension too. But yeah, I don't think it's ever in their favor really. Like often, like I will just I can, in a positive way, get out of the tension between these two bishops. Often with ideas of or just sacrificing my rook on f1, which is not joining anytime soon in an attack, or just saying I will not castle. But yeah, not castling. Like on e1, my king is maybe not the very safest. I don't need to castle, but I still want my king to get to g1. Oh yeah, like let's say if it's on f1, it's already fine. Then if it then gets a check, it just goes to g1, and my rook will find the purples over here. That's no problem. Oh, now I realize. Was b4 a move here? Probably b4 was a move. Oh wow. That's silly. b4 looks quite good. Yeah, that looks just strong. So if they allow me, I think, yeah, there's a very real chance I will just play b4 the next move. That looks super strong. Now they have this silly pawn fixed on. I guess then they will go for this, but feel they lost so much time. Did they? Maybe it's not that. Okay, 1090. So that's something like here, bishop b7, and yeah, a5 comes reasonably fast, and maybe I just overextended me on this side of the board, why I don't like. They want to play on the queen side, I want to play on the king side. Like their pawn structure is going in this direction, my pawn structure is going in that direction. So in that sense, I probably shouldn't really play b4. So yeah, but yeah, I at least should have considered it. Let's see who is following. I see Susie, so geil, and strong player. Alan also good 2000er. My captain, guys are always here. Buffer and asset. Who was also yesterday following the game. Also really like overboard 8. Really, it was not like super precise, but it was really, they never really slept up and really used, like the black player had a lot of, yeah, first moved the queen way too fast out, so they gained a lot of tempo against it, and then they really never developed their rook and bishop, and then even the queen got back there, and our board 8 started a very nice attack. Oh wow, they go for this. This feels, oh, completely killing the tension here. Are they gonna go long? I guess they are going long. There's no, but can't I always just I can always at least open up one file, but maybe that's not that much. But this bishop, how is this getting in the game? Like, I guess going back to here, then here. Like, what's the prospects? I guess this. And they need to get in f6 then too. And that's still, it would be to trade itself off. Or I guess maybe getting b4 in and this, but yeah, it feels. They are of course very experienced in the fighting, but this feels like this can't. I can't believe this is okay. Like all my pieces are also like short. It's just suicide at this point. Like I'm not even sure I want to castle. I just throw everything on the board. So yeah, and even long that even takes another tempo before this bishop can get into the game. I guess yeah, they go for a5 and b4, but what's in the end? But yeah, how do I now continue here? I can of course just castle. Sensible. But I kinda want to start something over here. Like let them show their cards. There's no pressure on my center anymore. So I can just go here. Of course, yeah, they probably shouldn't. I think starting h4 can't really ever be bad. It creates almost no weaknesses. Only like these two squares are slightly weaker, but irrelevantly weaker. And yeah, I have this idea. And yeah, this point storm is for now doing nothing yet. Like the only, I think even I very well could just consider just saying, oh, it's okay. You have your open files. Do it whatever you want. Although I think I probably will try to just fight for it, but since yeah they really can't fight that, since they really can't castle short, since that's suicide. So I'm really not sure what's their plan here. Like yeah, they completely killed all the pressure on the center. Oh, it's f6, but f6 here. Yeah, I need, of course, f6 here, and they could have some knight discoveries on my knight. But here, it's just not working since I take at least on g7 too. So that can only start to be an idea after they knight castled in some direction. But yeah, even then 96 would be with the tempo on whatever hook. Like, in whatever direction they go, 96 always will be with the tempo on a rook. So yeah, g6 or h6 or do they just, okay, they go for this, but I guess I'm just gonna continue. Yeah, and I will, like, after queen h5, I will put pressure here. Also, knight g6 teams are in the air. I guess I could go h6. No, not really. Yeah, I at least have queen g5 then, I think. So after, let's say they play b4, I can just ignore it first of all, but let's say I take, since yeah, getting this bishop to an even war square is kind of tempting. And then let's say queen h5, and even taking, and they're okay, now they are attacking my bishop, but I'm already getting in, so and even if they take my bishop, then there's still not a deadly follow-up. It's a piece, but not more than, I guess then they could here and also win the rook, so by then they start to win a lot of material, but they need like 5 tempo for that. So I guess again sort of maybe some sacrifices, but not seeing it. Since yeah, this of course any sacrifice on e5, I at least already gain a tempo on the queen. Like my bishop is of course not doing that much, but at least it makes all kind of sacrifices a lot less tempting. Okay, next. So yeah, or they need to try to do something against my stuff here. I guess g6, and now, but yeah, at least I can get my queen in too on g4. Then h5. And again, like against this, I always can still just castle. Like for me, castling kingside is not that dangerous. Like I put my pawn on h4, but that doesn't weaken my king that much. And like my rook can fast if also enter in this direction. So yeah, now my queen has 2 very promising squares, depending on what I do. I guess h5 is the most promising, but at that point I would need to calculate a bit. g6. Since I assume some sort of sacrifice on g6 would be very strong, but I'm not 100% seeing it yet, although it's probably not that complicated. At least I think I win 3 pawns. And even, it looks like the third is even with check, so something like queen h5, g6, knight g6. Of course, this pawn is pinned. So here, I guess they could at some point include this. But yeah, I'm not really sure at what point. And then if they, yeah, I guess they need to do something about, yeah, they take probably the knight, since if they move the rook, yeah, then I just stop. Then I just gain the pawn. So let's say, since this is a logical follow-up, right? Let's say this is included. That's not really that to make a move for them. g6, knight g6. They need to take with the f pawn. Bishop with check. Of course, now they could maybe take now and say they at least have done 2 pawns, but yeah, I think my attack just continues. And they have 2 pieces for the rook. But I have so many pawns already, and I can... And my attack just continues, I think. The queen is really out of place in that position. Oh, okay, they take here. Logical, but that at least opens up my h file, so I'm not unhappy with that. Yeah, I'm not even sure how logical it is. Like, I'm just gonna... How are they defending this h pawn? I guess g6 is the idea, but... Well, I guess they could try to put up some fortress over there. With knight f8. So now of course queen h... Yeah, although I'm not sure what queen h5 really does, but since it's... I guess I'm mostly just threatening to take this pawn. So g6, or what do I do against g6? Of course, these sacrifices are very tempting. But I'm not sure they are working. I need to consider them. Let's say here. They need to take. Now I can take one of the pawns. Of course, here again they have sometimes the option to win 2 pieces for the rook. I have some pawns, but yeah, it's not super clear. But yeah, also after the capture with the f pawn now, I could go with this again. But then again, they have like options to some discovery against my knight. And now there's no knight g7 pawn to take. So g6 maybe for now keeps it together. But I assume I will play rook h6 against that. And I'm just gonna batter on that pawn. Simple as that. I guess, yeah, then they have at some point knight f8, but then how are they ever getting these pieces out? So I need them to find a continuation. Yeah, I'm for now not yet seeing like how I break through. Like this pawn almost can be a little bit in the way. Yeah, it stops some of their, like there's never anymore an f6 break or h6 break. I guess after I castle, then h6 break is a little bit on the cards. But yeah, I don't think with such a close center I need to like really work. Okay, they go long, giving me this pawn, but I guess g6. Don't think I can take it. Also just rook h8. Yeah, I know. I can't take it at all. So yeah, this is logical. So now the question, can I open up the queenside here? Not that easy, so yeah, the position, it's maybe not that horrible. So yeah, do they now still, but maybe, probably at some point they still will need to break here, which yeah, would be in the same way but yeah, I'm not forced to go short at all. I think quite often I will want to do it, mostly to connect my hooks, but I can also for now stay in the center. So queen h5 attacking this pawn. Or they then go, yeah, they can just h6 taking here. Take here, take here, take. And then I need to go probably here, g4. Yeah, that's not it. Although, yeah, no. So yeah, this h6 break is on the card for them. Maybe I need to remaneuver this knight. I guess knight h5. That was anyway already a candidate of me. Since, yeah, of course they can still break with h6 and take with a pawn, but that would really ruin their pawn structure, and I don't think, like, at that point I really can start to just think about going long and play against his weaknesses. And against, so knight h5, g6, now I was thinking maybe knight f6, really camping down on the structure. Back opening up my bishop a bit. Yeah, this could be a little bit a bad bishop, of course. Yeah, has this knight any other prospects it can go to? Not really, all other squares are. So I think h5 is the square I want to go to. Yeah, and I think I'm really threatening to take on g7. With my bishop here, there's not really any big threat. Yeah. Need to a little bit look for my time. So feed Barbie here. Ball with ends. Teammate classical Prague. That was the game I was talking earlier about. I think. Since yeah, both are both 7 and 8 both won. Yeah, it's 7 I need to check still, I think. That was a quick game, but I don't think I really checked the game. Yeah. The only thing is they have the knight pair and the position is very closed. So that is for sure a little bit in their favor. But this is... Can't I now just play queen f3 and attack this pawn? How are they solving that? Like 98? That's like not where the knight wants to be. Queen f3 looks very tempting here. Also a bit fighting if they anyway wanted to go for h6. Already defending here. So then I'll probably take and maybe play g3 and next I take here or get a knight in. So that doesn't look great at all. Yeah, this knight. Yeah, I guess they maybe needed to go with this rook since otherwise... yeah, otherwise I could probably... Could I take? Yeah, maybe I was threatening. Yeah, that could be like after this one, maybe I could take, and after this go back and g6. I have knight g3 defending my rook. Yeah, and knight g3 just stops any incursion with their rooks on the h file. So, and g6 wasn't tempting at all either, so maybe they had just no good options, but yeah, this doesn't look great either, for sure. Still not like exactly sure what the continuation is, and also I a little bit blundered. I hope I didn't blunder 95 tactics. I said it already like 5 times, but maybe this is the moment. It looks so 95, 95, then d4. Although I still have bishop d4, take. No, I don't think it's still... No, I guess they... Yeah, and like, I don't think the tactics work. But because I always could take, or on b7 with check, which is a, although this is also with, no, the bishop would be on d4, so so that's a big one. And also that's on b6. Though I guess, yeah, they could with this knight. Right there. Okay, so maybe make sure that I step out of that. Yeah, what's next? Like, my position looks very great, but I need to, for now they are defending everything, so I need to somehow find a breakthrough, which, yeah, isn't easy at all. Like, it's quite likely that, yeah, now that all their pieces are stuck here, maybe now I need to start preparing some breaks over here. But yeah, the problem, the moment I take here, is I open their bishop, which, yeah, I obviously don't want to do. I can break with this. It's a little bit more tempting. I guess I have knight g3 option here. Since now h7 really will be hanging. So they then probably need to play g6. Oh, yeah. That way I can even force more passive pieces. Yeah. Yeah. I will also need to check if this tactic is for sure still not working. I don't think it is, but need to check it. I will check it. So knight g3, and then the follow-up will be rook h6, which I don't think, like, the rook will be forever on that square. There's, like, the knight has, yeah, the knights would need to go to g6 in some miracle way to defend against that, but there's even, yeah, I guess this knight maneuver could be a thing, but yeah, like, how do they do that? So, or do I want to go back to f4? That's of course an option too. But then, yeah, I'm no longer, I think I prefer in general knight g3. It blocks in some lines, the g file, and it keeps control with my bishop over h6, which I like. Since, for example, like in this line, knight f4, h6 take. Now they have rook takes, and before taking, since, yeah, of course, like in this line, they would need to take with a rook, and yeah, my rook is way better than their rook. They need to take with a pawn. So yeah, I think knight g3. Of course, also, like earlier, stopping all IDs with, like, giving a pawn and creating counterplay here. So before I confirm, let's check this tactic. d4, just here, right? Take. Just a piece up here. Yeah, there's nothing. And in the other way around, I at least can just take here and then take. And, yeah. So don't think that's working at all. Maybe in some other... I don't know. But yeah. Probably don't want to keep the queen there too long. So maybe, yeah, one will get it to f4. But yeah, first they need to do something about the issues here. I guess they can also just play knight f8 directly. Probably that's best. But now they have, like, surely, but like this rook stuck here, this knight stuck there, this knight stuck on f8, the two hooks stuck here. Surely now I somehow need to be able to crack open this side. But it's really not easy. Or is there like a way that I like double on the h file and then in the end just stick with my bishop? Force that way. Although I really only like force g6, which is something I want, but maybe it's also not that dramatic to force g6. Yeah, now with my knight no longer on h5, g6 is also not that big a concession of them. Of course, now they're... Wow, let's hear the tactic. Is there a tactic here? So take d4. I guess that's the tactic. So I just play queen f4, I guess. But if I play queen f4 now, although it's a pawn, so that's still okay. Is there any weakness with the queen on f4? Yeah, there's no, like, it's not pinned. I still have my bishop here. There are no tactics. Yeah, the queen here will maybe relieve this knight of his job of defending. But yeah, the knight is still going absolutely nowhere, but maybe it can go to c6. An extra knight to threaten to sacrifice. And with, yeah, threat, a big word. And this is still nothing. This, I don't think, is a thing either. I guess maybe this could be a thing. But if I just take once, and then that pawn is... I don't think it's really anything. Since yeah, I think the biggest asset of my position is also that I have flexibility with my king. I can stay in the center, I can go kingside, I can go queenside. And and amazingly everywhere it will be quite safe. Yeah. So if they can never and at no side really make a sacrifice to open up that side, since then my king easily can just go to the other side or and stay in the center in some cases. I guess it's for now safe in the center. If they open up one of the sides, then I go to the other side likely. Yeah. Their position. I guess their position is exactly why people don't want to play the French. For me, the main reason is the French exchange, but that's silly since there are ways to make the French exchange also not that boring. I now realize like if they somehow can manage to really close it up here. Okay, now they finally went for that. Also, so now this knight is free to move. Yeah, I was thinking that in some lines that I continue. Yeah, that my idea that they can completely lock it up here afterwards. It will be very difficult for me to open a position here. But yeah, that also would give me the complete free hand on this side of the board. They have sometimes knight g6 ideas here. Which, yeah, I could just snap off, but yeah, maybe that's bailing them out a bit. Yeah, knight g6. Why did I go to f4 exactly? Not to g4. I overprotected. Yeah, I also kept attacking that point, I guess. I guess I can go to h4 now. Since I don't think, yeah, the two rooks here will be like way stronger than the queen. Like, what's the queen gonna do? The position is completely closed. I just need to, of course, in that case, it's not like, don't really want to go long anymore, but I also want to get my rook somehow here. But yeah, we'll see that then. And yeah, if they need to take with the g pawn, with the f pawn, that looks like really weakening their structure. So this should mostly stop knight g6, I think. Oh, but yeah, the thing is, of course, I'm not really threatening them to take on h7 in any lines, which is a bit sad. Yeah, I for some reason like didn't consider this idea really. It was a bit silly. Yeah, the main thing is like my knight has a lot of maneuverability, but I still really don't know where I want to go with my knight. It can go basically anywhere, but there's not any. Like the only real thing that I see is like some sort of sacrifice, but it's really not good enough. And that would be a way to sort of break through, but not in a good way. I'm thinking about just going rook h5, I think. But yeah, then I lose a little bit of my flexibility, of course. But yeah, do I really want to castle? Like, I think in most lines I want to keep my rook on this open file. Also, I of course take away. Yeah, and so yeah, the big idea is why h5, so now the queen can get behind. And if they g6, yeah, g6 now, just put it on h6 and that looks like long term I'm just gonna break through somehow. Not sure yet how, but I think I will. And then here, like still not really any sacrifices, I think. Yeah, this looks reasonable. Of course, yeah, sometimes the other rook is not, maybe king e2 actually, I think is in case maybe d2. The advantage of e2 is that it also still can, this is still sort of the most stable home for my king, so it can still go pretty fast to there. Well, d2, now it's really just staying in the center. Like the queenside is not really that much of a. So yeah, I think king e2 is pop. If they then like decide to open it up, like here, it can still find some cover then. So this, make sure there's nothing. Don't see it. I guess moment my queen is here. Now h6. But now take. I'm already out of the way. Yeah, and also, yeah, no. I guess, yeah, no, they both need to then, like, knight g6, queen g4, they need to remove 3 things before my, okay, I will remove this out of my own thing, but they need to make a move with this pawn, which can't really do anything attacking, and a move with the knight. I don't know. Maybe. No. They can move this. I was thinking they can move this pawn with the tempo on the hook, but then of course the file remains closed. That was silly. And yeah, like both these captures. Okay, this capture could be a little bit with some punch. So I guess that could be an idea. Knight g6, queen g4, f6. Yeah, that's not super silly, actually. And that's probably one of their better tries, actually. But I think after that, maybe just take on g6 actually. They need to recapture here, knight for 8, and then I think I can pretty safely take here. And I can then decide, yeah, what I want to grab here. And there's not really. The position opened up a bit, but not in a dramatic way for me. This sacrifice still looks not that dangerous. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna triple on the H file now. And I'm not really seeing what they are doing. I think my position in the rest of the board is solid enough. Guess they will or need to sort of manage a sacrifice or get in before. I guess that's their two only options. Yeah, I need to make a decision where I want to put my king. Do I anyway go long? It feels it's only, I guess on c1 it sort of can stop a little bit the incursion here. But yeah, it feels very drafty there. While on e2, yeah, I guess a queen can come in somehow. It's also a little bit, but yeah, I guess then at least I have my bishop on d2 always. Yeah, that feels a decent sort of protector. It's not that, yeah, how do you, I guess, yeah, but if they can do like a lot of moves in a row. But yeah, I also still need to do 2 moves of 3 moves, yeah, actually. So, like this b4 plan, if they do it now, it's maybe still fast enough to go b4. I could consider, of course, like keeping it a little bit closed. Yeah, but right now it feels also sort of silly. With my hook still here. It's not doing that much there, my hook, but yeah, and that was always what I was saying. Like, I put a lot of pieces here, but still sort of my pieces are quicker to get back to that side. Like, I guess a very big thing is that this bishop really has no prospects. A French bishop. My bishop on e3. Not that much either. I of course need to be honest about that. But I feel it still has, like, it's doing something in this position. This bishop is really doing, yeah, nothing. While my bishop is crucially controlling the h6 square. Oh. Now see, maybe a line they have h6, rook takes h6. Is a little bit interesting. Although still I can just, no, it's not that interesting, I think. I just take on g6. Yeah, no, it's not working at all. Yeah, that's very important that at a lot of points I always have like the intermediate that I just first chop off this knight, stopping every tactic. They need this knight to make tactics work. Like if the moment one of these pawns gets to g6, then all the like this tactics directly stop. And also like it's important to the knight is the only thing that really can like sacrifice. All other black pieces even like can do, the queen can do a silly sacrifice, but the bishop has nothing. The knight is only looking at its own stuff. The rook is only looking at its own stuff. I have way more pieces that are looking at my opponent's stuff. Okay. I guess I now step out of this this line. I think that feels still the most safe. Now really stopping h6. Yeah, and I'm just threatening this pawn, right? So that's a big thing. So probably forcing them to go back. But I still can take. Actually. I guess they have g6. Oh, that's interesting. Was that maybe against that? This is an So queen h3, knight f8, take, g6. No, I can actually, no, they cannot take with the knight. So I can take this rook, then they have rook h5. Oh no, I have still this knight here. So that doesn't work. They can take with, I guess I can take with pawn, and then my bishop is hanging. So that line isn't working yet, I think. But after that, they are also not yet attacking something, but I guess rook g7 will come. So queen h5, knight f8, bishop here, g6. But yeah, mostly queen h3 now. Again, all these pieces are stuck, right? After knight f8, I have time to like improve my position. No tactics. Don't want to go too low on the clock, but for now I think I'm still fine. Yeah, the thing about king e2, I guess, but yeah, it's with the knight on f8, I again don't need to be, there are no pieces that can sacrifice. I guess the knight can go to c6 and sacrifice. I think knight f8 is almost the first move. How much people? Mostly the same. And now the big I feel it's a difficult decision. It likely doesn't matter that much, but like I feel a lot of moves are like you have at least easy ways how to decide. I'm gonna put on the light. but every like king move, so oh no, of course not that. And some upsides and some downsides. So knight f8, king e2, knight c6. I'm already here. So take. They almost like, and they're really not. There are no threats, right? No. All their pieces are passive. How can a sacrifice ever really work? Probably do something like knight f1. Even, yeah, that's with the king here. Even now I will be like threatening to force a queen trade. And I control all the squares, so yeah, that's not at all scary. So yeah, and then I think I want to go to e2. Since yeah, the other way to create counterplay is with b4, and I think yeah, it's not super. There is also something to be said to like more defending some squares. But I feel yeah, here I at least also have the option of f3 sometimes, since it's really like almost impossible to open up this. I guess no, it's possible, like sacrifice on e5 and then d4. So yeah, maybe there's not that many lines I want to go to f3. Yeah, no, again. But yeah, I think the bigger upside I saw from e2 was that I have bishop d2, right? And then since not the knight will be on f8, so there is no knight f4 business. Yeah, no, there are really there's nothing loose then in my position. It's only this bishop, I guess, a bit. But yeah, I think likely. But I guess maybe I never really can take on h7 now. I'm thinking this idea with g6 keeps working. That's kind of wow. And so knight f8. Okay, let's say they don't do anything, right? Even in this position, if I capture g6, take, my bishop is still trapped. And yeah, so and if I go, the only thing is that my bishop, that I can keep protecting it, but I need to get it out. And how do I do that? Since they then put rooks on g7 and h8, and maybe they can at some point even attack with the queen. That's interesting. So how do I then manage to do that? Is it then that I need to get in g6? But that really doesn't work either. Maybe they haven't seen this idea and that's the reason they are thinking that much. I guess instead I could take with a rook, but that feels also not really right. How can I maybe maneuver some pieces? It's there, yeah. Feel there should be something for me here, but I'm not seeing it. So if I align stake here, the pawn, they can't directly then capture, so they will need to capture my rook, which will be probably on h6 then. But that will be with tempo on my queen, so. Ah, what? Ah, no, maybe. No. I stopped my calculation maybe too early. Now I see, since that knight on f8 is also loose. Ah, no. So. Yeah, so knight f8, bishop here, g6, rook h6, rook g7, only move. And now, okay, so they go for that instead, but then that's another idea. Huh? That now is really a free pawn, right? How is that not just a completely free pawn? Huh? And yeah, it's not okay. There's no immediate follow-up, but now the knight is also stuck defending the rook. The rook is defending the pawn. Like there's not even squares where they can attack something of me. But yeah, I think I figured out in the end that I could take here. So the line was okay. Maybe it will be after the game. Kind of quick. Okay, if they are planning to keep moving quickly, then I need to. Are they now sort of preparing something here? Can I not anyway go long b4? Have g6, which is a bit tempting since it looks good. Like this sacrifice still is really going nowhere, right? And the queen. Ah, no. And so the idea is bishop f7 in the end. If they take with the knight, of course, the rook is hanging. I guess after bishop here, they could move the rook, but I also, bishop f7 still remains, like I attack here, this pawn of course. I think this is a good breakthrough. I guess they have f6, which I... okay, they just take. Knight here, easy. Of course, I don't need to like rush. If they move the rook, not take here directly, so then I will move back. But I guess rook f8 is a sensible move. But then I probably just move the bishop back. Could also move the bishop like here. That's not a crazy idea either. It's at some point I think now I'm just gonna go for castle. Yeah, but although they are now a little bit more moving their pieces towards this direction also. But yeah, I think mostly I don't need to be that afraid anymore for the position here, since I already broke through on this side. So like now it's not, my king will slow this progression long enough down that I will just completely break through on this side. Although I guess they could just give up everything here. It's not that I are winning here or something. What's the idea after bishop f5, rook g7, queen here? Of course, a bit putting my pieces on slightly dangerous squares. This. Yeah, no, this is with tempo on the hook, so that's of course quite big. This. Ah, that knight f5. And now this is an idea. Okay. So maybe I need to keep my bishop here so I at least can take with the bishop. Since this is then not really a threat. Bishop here. Rook here. Take. Knight f5. And since it's with an attack also on my queen. And if I take, now they have this check. I have like the knight d6, for example, after the capture here, which could be like it's enough. So bishop f5, that would be like going for the style pawns. Take. Knight f5 here. Rook check. It's not that risky either, since I will have like already 2 pawns for it. Check. It's not a check. They need to defend that. say they play here. I know my bishop is also still blocking. That's no, then it's not powerful enough. I think I just go back. Now this is no threat at all. Since now I always can take with of course, is there some like perpetual on my queen? I don't think so. Now I'm going to go long. Queen f8, no. They are sort of threatening my queen. Queen h3. That looks good. Attacking here. And then next I go long. Now knight f5 is really discouraged a lot. And they are still like with these bad pieces over here. My bishop now has some possibilities. Although mostly it's just here defending the f2 pawn, I think. I guess they... No, rook f8. I just have this, right? Yeah. I just need to be aware that after knight f5, taking with the bishop. I guess... No. Yeah. Not... I can't grab this pawn. Oh. Since otherwise they have f4 in the end. Huh. Knight f5 maybe is an option here. And I'll see. So take. Since they are now threatening both f4 and this. Yeah, not really. Since yeah, my knight is stuck. Okay. Maybe missed this. Maybe I had also something, but now I really want to get out of this business. Of course, this is an option now. I guess the rook can go active here. How scared am I of that? Oh, they now try to go for the breakthrough. I think I for sure need to take once. Maybe like staying in the center was still the way to go actually. Since now they're gonna take here and they have some ideas of here, but don't think like after the check now my king will be probably safe enough over there. Do I go rook h1 stopping this kind of business? Feel my queen sort of needs to get to a better square. Although that allows them still to go for the h5, but I think the H file is maybe just a ruse. Yeah, I keep pressure here on the G7 pawn. So yeah, they have knight f5 ideas. I think I want to take with the knight, right? Take. So my idea was queen g5. Or even queen g6 actually. That's. And I can go on the counter offensive. Yeah, I could also say I tempted him into this, and now I go just back. I lost some tempo then, but no, they finally helped me to open all up the queen sides. But yeah, they needed to create some distraction. Okay. I guess finally the bishop is trying to get out, but it still can't get out since this pawn is hanging. I think I go back to the center with my king. Funny, but I think it's best. Don't see any threats of them. Ah yeah, the reason I earlier wanted g5, now maybe this since the knight is defended, but then I have just g5, right? And there's no piece that really can attack my queen on g5. Since yeah, I need to stop f4 after like this. Guess I can try to prepare it with g. Or do I go f3 actually? But that limits my queen. Since f3, that would prepare bishop g5. But I yeah, of course, don't want my but f3, like activating my worst piece. No, I think anyway gonna start with this. After knight f5, and just then take. I can even just no. I think g5, g5, g5. The knight is. I guess the knight can try to kick my queen like this, but then at least I can somewhere play f4 or something. Actually, I even can, of course, just block the pawn, but no, not directly. I need to move my queen. But after, I guess f4. That would sort of dominate. They have some coordination now, and I'm low on time. But I'm not gonna try to do a sequel that's playing on the last seconds. I'm also playing with move confirmation, but my last time I was in time pressure, I felt like I sort of want to keep the move confirmation on since I'm at this point too used to it. It's yeah, it's just like you could call it a little bit cheating, but it's just allowed that I really use also that the fact that you can see the position for a second. Don't think I changed that much, but yeah. It's yeah, I guess I use it also to already sort of show what likely will be my move. And so sometimes I then forget that I have turned move confirmation on and already like make the move, which I probably would have made in the end, but uh, wasn't planning to do it at that right point. So that's the reason I prefer to keep it on. But yeah, I have lost I think 2 games because of but yeah, I'm not sure how bad my position was or how good. But 2 times that like I made a move with like 2 seconds, but then I needed to click an extra time for a move confirmation. I didn't manage to do it. So it's a little risk. So, of course, I think my rook for now is just waiting. Yeah. Like here, of course. But yeah, I think I assume if I play king d2, they maybe don't play before. I'm not sure. Otherwise, yeah, it's clear that king d2 deactive was a better move. Like, sometimes still the rook wants to shift, but yeah. It's better waiting here than it's waiting on d1. And sometimes I'm just gonna lose yeah, it's too full tempi. I think, yeah, if they trade... No, if they trade, I play b1, of course. Yeah, I don't think they can't really trade. Yeah, I guess the only thing is with the rook here, now after b3, I can just play bishop b1, which I'm not sure I would love with the rook here. It could be like some sort of a semi-active piece. Likely the action is still going to be on the Kingside. Okay, I go for this. Logical. But yeah, it's also... I have now a passer. And I think my queen is quite okay on g5. Of course, there's some stuff about like sacrifices, but not really for now. Yeah, mainly, yeah, I guess I need to, yeah, bishop f4 really. Like earlier I was saying about f4, but bishop f4 really looks more tempting. I guess for that reason, I could have also, no, after queen f4, then there was some g4, 5 stuff. So I think bishop f4, I'm defending this a bit, so sacrifices here becomes more tempting, but I don't believe them. I guess they maybe need to play with bishop e6. But yeah, no. The bishop for now remains a big pawn. And also after a bishop, e6, now I have bishop a4 ideas, which, yeah, no, they're just not working. I guess it's time for rook a1. Yeah, prepares bishop a4. Some lines I will maybe play queen f6, but I don't think yet right now. It's also what's their next move, really. So now after b3, I'm going of course this direction. The bishop will nicely pop out on f3. If they take here, that looks very scary for them. Okay, knight going to there. I guess knight e6 is a really nice square indeed. I didn't consider that. Yeah, that's a little bit annoying for sure. Like my queen needs to, but it's not easy to get my queen transported to there. I have queen f6. Since g5 is not an option, knight e6, trade, and bishop there. You just need to be a little bit aware about them entering somehow. And knight e6 is an annoyingly good square. Yeah, bishop a4, yeah, that's just trading of their bad bishop, so not. Although, but yeah, knight e6 is too big a tempo, I think. Let's make sure that works. Like g5 I take, and otherwise I play just here. Although then they go here and they attack here. But yeah, I guess I'm done in time enough for bishop e3 back. Haven't calculated super well out this. I for sure allowed some counterplay here. So I think trading here and then rook h8. Yeah, the problem is here they're gonna attack. Although after bishop f, okay, they keep the queen. Knight e6. But now I can get in this. And there is not really, the knight can't really challenge, then they can't challenge my queen anymore. I think that looks good. I guess they have rook g7 here. Although after rook g7, now I have queen h8. Here, of course, the knight is hanging. And yeah. And it's my rook is here. It's important. I assume if my queen somehow can connect with this side of the board, it's directly GG. Not that but yeah. And let's say at least I don't need to be then afraid that I somehow kept a pawn here. That will be way more material won over there. At least if it's not checkmate. So this, and if they go back, now I think I have this one. Yeah, and I'm entering. And if they need to trade, yeah, this bishop is amazing. It stops the rook entering. It's attacking the bishop for now. Yeah, earlier it was a really bad bishop. On f6 it will be. It's sort of cut off the game, but it's controlling more as enough crucial squares to be a good piece. I guess, yeah, there could be in some lines I need to be a little bit aware that, let's say we trade it. Okay, they go for b3 now. Yeah, I guess, yeah, here on this diagonal I'm doing absolutely nothing, so I assume I'm going to here. I guess they could have some f4 and queen f5 ideas. But yeah, also this will be with tempo then, at least. Or... But yeah, it's an idea where I need to look out a bit for. But yeah, they go for that. I think this. That stops this for now, and if they defend it with a bishop, now if they go here, this will be with a check. This also here, queen h3. Still not really entering there. I have bishop g4 now. Yeah, that's probably good. Keeps the queen out. If they now go here, and now I can probably just take here. Or, yeah, do something. Taking this pawn, since it's also Like, I can take the rook. Although, taking here, maybe knight here is the idea. It could be that's just a free pawn, actually. Nah. This just feels right. This, I still have this idea, right? Yeah, no, like with simplifications, in the end I probably often will just cap this pawn, be it with my bishop or even my king. After bishop here, I think now I probably can just trade and I guess then still g5. The queen still, of course, is relatively fast in if I still second guess me at some point, I can of course just go back here, but then maybe they correct themselves and go in that direction. Okay, they go indeed back. Yes. Don't think I'm gonna take here. I think I'm gonna play bishop f6. And maybe take with the queen. And if they go here now, I think this just wins. I don't see moves. I think this is just a Marbeloff's bishop. I guess they can play g5. And g5 is potentially a move. Oh wow, they go for this. Is this not just checkmate? I assumed it was checkmate. I didn't calculate it fully out, but yeah, the big thing is why I played bishop f6 is I blocked the connection of the queen to this square. So there's no knight e7 either. Which I'm not sure it would be great if it was there, but so yeah. Guess here. Like if they have a check do they have at least perpetual by force? I'm not sure even about that, so I think I probably can just take the rook, actually. Since my rook is still here, so I don't think it's perpetual. My king is just gonna run here. So yeah, then it's of course completely GG. But I think the only, but it's, yeah, it's still, it just check here, king b5, the knight is still here to protect some squares. I think I'm just gonna take the hook. Of course, need to like double check a little bit, but they have only 2 checks. And I think I go king e1 against bolt. The only check they have is king queen e4. I go here. They have 1 more check, and on g1 there is no checks. Of course, they can at some point gap here, but yeah, then I will have a rook. It will be a, like, in some lines, if there is nothing more in the position, like grabbing this pawn could be maybe worth a rook. But yeah, I'm also giving checkmate at the other side of the board, so. I guess when they're still gonna make a move, are they going to resign? Yeah, it was really interesting game, actually. I think, yeah, for sure this is like, it's like quite often like the discussion, is there luck in chess? I think I for sure had luck in chess in this, that I, not this exact variation, but at least very similar. Like, I could have gotten, yeah, the resign. GG. Oh no. Oh wow. I messed up a little bit, but not, I never like gave them. But yeah, so let's see. Yeah, it was some strange fromage. I think here the opening, yeah, this queen a5. I almost played a3, I assume. Is that indeed bad? Yeah. Yeah, it's not like super, so it's just a line, I guess. So I here saw, yeah, was this, but that looks like it doesn't work. Ah, no, knight xd4. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I miscalculated this. I thought maybe here they could take on e5, but yeah, of course, then there is, and after this is exactly, yeah, the same thing I did a little bit in my game last week. So that was bishop d2 then not good? It's also, I guess, both are moves. Here I went, yeah, here the c4. I assume that it's just horrible, right? Yeah, man, it's, my position is just already very good. I guess they never can get in b4. Like, for example, in this position b4. No, I was more saying it like in this way, right? And it wants to take with the knight again. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I always misevaluated these positions. So here, oh, here I can take on e6. I consider, yeah, but here it's not even, yeah, it's, how does it work? Ah, yeah, okay, that's not difficult at all. Yeah, oh wow. Yeah, okay, that makes, of course, the queen here. Yeah, no. Yeah, okay, then man, I was missing quite some ideas in the opening, so I assume here it's still the same. I have always knight x4. That's something to keep in mind. I know it's, but yeah, since yeah, it's not like in general. Of course, you want to take with the c pawn to keep like this pawn very solid, but knight x4 almost forces the trade, and then yeah, it opens up my queen, which was like relevant. And also yeah, this is their best piece. It is putting pressure on the center. It is SRD here. So yeah, you often like to trade these knights. Yeah. So yeah, it was just the positional advantage here that I assumed, but I wasn't really like, how do I break through? Guess this was all good. So here, and this was a big point, knight f8. Could I take here? No. Ah yeah, it was spotting for a moment. So I took quite some time here, but in the end I found this. And rook g7, and I think here, yes. Okay. I calculated this correctly, that's nice. So here. And so it looks like here, from here, yeah, of course I'm really low on time and I started to give them some real counterplay. So yeah, maybe king d2 here. Oh, it doesn't like taking, wow, it just leaves this, but that's, for example, this looks, ugh. I guess opening up the B file now I can just go back to this, but yeah, doesn't feel really human to me to allow this capture with check. The engine doesn't even like do it. And, I can also then take here. Yeah, their pieces are just too scattered. Come like from two sides. Makes sense. Yeah, they didn't. And here I give all this b3. I am this pawn before I got in hook a. And now the g6 maybe even at some point. And now this bishop is the bad bishop. Although not in this exact position, but I guess later on it probably will at some point. g6 is an idea to really blunt his bishop. Although for now it's already blunted. Yeah, that's a nice idea. Here. b3 was... They played it one move later and then it was less. Wow. And knight e6 here. But what was it doing here? If I still play bishop f3, bishop c6, I guess. Ah yeah, but so they should have just allowed the queen trade. Okay. So Let's say this. Whoa. What's here? Ah, knight. Yeah, the knight dominates my bishop, of course, here. Yeah, and here. It's I guess here I break through. So, yeah, I take all the pawns. Okay. Yeah, and time. Yeah, I sort of thought I had the tempo more here. And if I do it like this, I think I'm no. And yeah, the bishop again gets trapped. Yeah, well. Yeah, I totally missed that. I completely just trapped my bishop. Of course, I don't need to. But that's just... and if I just do bishop f3 directly, bishop c6. And yeah. My bishop is just out of squares. I have one tempo too short. If I had something... Although, then even still, probably. And if I, let's say, move my out of the way. And now they have just a g3, but... Whew. And this, let's say... But yeah, now there's really no nice squares for my king, but... so, let's say this. But yeah, they needed to find a very precise path. And now this again. So then let's say the last attempt. But yeah, I now start to believe that with everything there are problems. Something like this. Yeah, I knew. Now all my pieces are stuck. I'm so almost. Like, no, I'm completely closed in my pieces. Before, all black's pieces were closed and this. Yeah, but yeah, that I guess. So it wasn't this. Bishop c4 was okay, and here it's game over. Knight takes knight e6, but yeah, this was already also very bad. Yeah, here. What I have taken here. Is there anything? Yeah, there are also just alternatives at this point. And this was just... Oh wow, here I didn't take, but so why? Yeah, okay, now I could break in, of course, and rook. Yeah. But yeah, I saw this, but now I allowed 96 again. Yeah, conversion. 6 out of impact. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm that happy with this game actually. Like at every phase even. Like here, I completely, like, I everywhere misevaluated this knight takes d4 positions. And then here I played really, okay, this phase of the game I played really nicely. It was, but here yeah. But yeah, of course, low on time. It's normal that you start to And yeah, I think they needed to find like a really precise way to then equalize, where I had like where for me the room was always way bigger. So yeah, not that surprising that I win in that. Okay, guess that's maybe to end it, I'm gonna try from starting of tomorrow I will do 30 days every day stream. So always 19 UTC, like most of the days, probably like 2 hours or something. Not every day a long stream. Only when I'm playing my league games or something, I'll do something longer. And yeah, like most of the days 19. Of course, if I have at an earlier time or I can't, I will switch it up. But like the goal is to do, let's say, at least 20 of the 30 days at 19 UTC, and then the other days I will let you know. So hopefully, if everything goes to plan, I start with that tomorrow at 19 UTC. So see you then.